Welcome to Obsidian TTRPG tutorials.com. Let's learn how to use the tool. Alright, g'day guys, and welcome back today to another Obsidian video. Today we're going to be having a look at a new TTRPG plugin that's hit the market. It came out in May. It's called the Solo RPG Toolkit by Alex Karowski. And it looks like it's basically a bunch of TTRPG tools, obviously designed for people who are playing solo TTRPGs. I'm not going to pretend to know what that is. I've never played a solo TTRPG, but from what I understand, they play the games solo and they use a lot of rollable tables to help sort of direct where they're going, so they don't need a dungeon master, which sounds pretty cool actually. So, helpful tools for playing TTRPG games geared towards solo play with a GM emulator. Alright, so we're going to go in and let's just start with how do we install it. Well, obviously we go down to settings, we're going to come to community plugins, we're going to go to browse, and we're going to type solo, and I think that should be enough, Solo RPG Toolkit by Alex Karowski. You can see it's been downloaded 468 times already, so it's getting out there, and it's getting updated regularly. Alright, as with all things, we read the README guides. That is where we start. And, you know, I still get questions, what's more up to date, the README or your video? Obviously the README, guys. Always the README. If the README is available, you should read it. That is my stance. Now, what does this thing offer? We've got dice rollers. We've got deck of cards. We've got random generators. We've got custom random tables and custom table templates. So there's some cool stuff in here. I think though, and Dave, if you're not watching this video, you probably should. There's some inline elements here that I think are going to be interesting for some of the things that we do. And we'll jump in and we'll have a look at that. So anyway, let's go through. You do the install, you do the enable. All right, then you can click the options button. Come in here. You set up a place for your custom tables folder to go. I haven't played with that just yet. We're going to do that through this video. Enable a digital turret deck, I've turned that on. Add jokers to the deck, I've turned that on. And enable inline elements. Now I have turned this on. This is interesting and I want us to spend some time with this today. So anyway, let's jump in and show you how it works. Alright, so we've installed the plugin, we've enabled it. The first thing you're going to notice is over here on the right, we have the Solo RPG Toolkit. And this is primarily what comes with this plugin. Let's give us some room. Now, we click that plugin and you can see there's some plugins along the top. All right, there's a dice roller here. This is quite simple. It's a dice roller. All right, I quite like that it's actually showing you the rolling before it lands on where it's going to go. You can click it again to obviously roll more dice. All right, and you've got, oh, what's that one? That's a roll D100. There you go. All right, so we've got lots of different dice rollers. It's simple. It's easy to use. Obviously, like there's a lot of us that do use, this one here from Javelin. This one's obviously very common and used extensively by the TTRPG community. I would say the UI for this, if you just want to roll a dice, this is probably easier. All right, it's just simple. It's one button where here you got to go this dice and then this. But I will say that, this is obviously a lot more complex. Dice Roller lets you add formulas. It lets you save those formulas. It lets you roll multiple types of dice. This is good, but it's just for like rolling a dice in the moment. Yeah, obviously, your use case may vary depending on what you want to use it for. All right, let's jump over and let's have a look at the deck tool. The deck tool is, as it sounds, we've got a 50 card deck here. We can shuffle that deck. We can draw a card. All right, so we've got the Queen of Hearts here. We can then go, oh, sorry, not Queen of Hearts, Queen of something. Seven of Hearts. All right. You can see we keep going through and we just get different cards. So that might be useful. It's simple, it's easy, it works. Now we've got a tarot. We can shuffle the tarot card. All right, we get the Hanged Man. We get the Magician. We get the High Priestess. So it's very simple. All right, there's obviously no pictures really going on here. There's a couple of icons to indicate the cards. But really, like, it's effective, right? It's all you actually need. You might have a table, then you're running your TTRPG that says, if you roll the Justice card, this is what it means, or this is what it should mean, and you just reference that, right? But yeah, again, simple, easy to use, does what it says on the box. I like that it's just here on the side, and I can quickly get to it. All right, let's jump through and have a look at the Oracle. All right, so Oracle. Now, I'm guessing this is a solo TTRPG thing. All right, so you're unlikely to succeed. No. Fair. No. Fair. No but. All right, so it's a bit of a random generator. I'm going to assume here, I'm not an expert, but these would be buttons that you're pressing to see the outcome of something, right? If something's likely to occur, you might press the button and it tells you whether it is or not. All right, subject, protected aura, primitive tea, primitive jam, faded raw. I'm going to take a guess this might be some conversation starters, maybe. Just random stuff to help you sort of keep your game running as a solo TTRPG. Action, require spontaneously, triumph ceaselessly, block oddly, vote wittily. I have no idea what these are for, guys. I wouldn't use these at my table, most likely. All right, but I'm guessing there's a very specific purpose here for the solo TTRPGs. I've seen stuff like this before in other solo TTRPG stuff, so I'm guessing like this is something to do with like the Dungeon Master effectively. It's helping them run their game in a way that they don't control it. So, might be useful. All right, let's have a look at the ideas. We've got some names. Now, this I would use. All right, this is quick. This is easy. It's a lot more interesting output than what I usually come up with. Like Fred has been used a lot at my table. Frank's been used a lot at my table. My brain just doesn't work in a way that I reach in and I pull out Lyrin Iltades, right? Like it just doesn't work like that. I usually have a fantasy name generator running on another screen if I need to bring up a name quickly, or it's usually not running and I have to quickly open it in order to give myself a name that's actually acceptable. And you know what? There's some names here that are perfectly random, that are interesting, might not be aligned with maybe the culture of what you're using, but whatever. That might be useful for people. All right, aspects. What does that do? Lovable and beautiful. Indiscreet and narcissistic. Youthful and prideful. You know what? I like that because playing an NPC, you can quickly come up with a name, an aspect. What do they do? Good with resources, but bad agility. What's their job? They're a goldsmith. They're from the Frost Witch. They're cautious and delicate. And that's, you know what? I've added that button. I will show you how to do that in a minute. All right, this is cool. I like this. This is simple. It's a simple button press. If I copy it, yeah, if I click it, I copy it. There you go. So I can go name, paste into my notes. I think that simplicity is on point. You know what? I might actually add this to my my TTRPG toolset and actually use this because I like that simplicity. That's just there, just where I need it. It's quicker than the AI stuff that I've used previously, and it just pumps it out. Let's just have a few look at the aspects. So devoted, sneaky, absent-minded, elderly, that's cool. Skills, good networking, good at academics, good at archaeology, but bad at leadership, good at connections, but bad at survival skills. That's cool. We got some different jobs going on. Athletes, princess, informant, weaver, miner, panholder. Different town names. And we can describe people in different ways. All right, guys, that is just a nice tool set of randomness to sit on the side of your little pane here, bring it up as you need it, and pump out something. I think that's really good. But let's jump in now and let's have a look at some of the inline stuff. All right, so if we jump back to the plugin README, all right, we'll come down here. Oh, sorry, we'll come up to Community Plugins and scroll down to the Solo TTRPG Toolkit. And we'll have a look at the README, all right? If we go through the README, there's an interesting section here on inline elements, all right? You can see that it supports dynamic counters. And to do that, you trigger, you type the back dash thing next to your one button on the keyboard, put a number in there and do another one, all right? So it's a tick, number, tick, effectively. Progress tracker. This is another interesting one. This one is a little bit different. You go tick, 1-5 tick will make a 1 to 5 progress tracker. All right, we'll show you how to do that. And then tab stops. These are just for putting extra tabs effectively into your workflows. So they're very simple to use, but let's just jump in and have a quick look. You can see here that I've actually made some of these already. If we come in here and we do the tick, let's put a 9 in there. All right, we've got a 9. All right, goes up and down. Now, what is this doing? This doesn't have a limit on it. It's literally just an incremental number tracker. All right, that's it. And if you actually have a look in source mode at what this is doing, all right, it's literally just changing the number inside and displaying it. All right, that is it. Now, that is very simple. I have noticed a few little twerks with this. For example, source mode doesn't actually take you into a raw source mode all the time. Like this here, for example, is in source mode. So I'm not convinced that is working properly yet because you can't see the source. Live preview mode, you can click on the number and it brings it up. All right, so there's a few things here that probably need a little bit of tweaking to make it work the way Obsidian is intending it to work. But the outcome is simple. The outcome is very easy to use. I get an incremental number tracker. All right, I can't set a min or a max, and I think that might be useful. You know, if you could actually say, I want a number tracker from 1 to 10 and it can't go above or beyond that, that might be cool. But outside of that, I've seen people trying to make these things, right? And this is just a very simple, easy way to do it. You install the plugin, you add the syntax, and there you go. Just to talk about the way people do this, all right? We see people using MetaBind to do this. And I think the bonus that MetaBind's going to have over a tool like this is MetaBind is saving the value of that 3 into a properties, which you can then use in mathematical equations, which allows you to take the result of your incremental tracker and use it for something else. So I do think that this is fantastic for a very simple concept. Like if you are maybe creating an ammo tracker, for example, and you just needed to track how many pieces of ammunition you had in your backpack, this is fantastic. You could absolutely use this. All right, another little cool one down here. We do the tick and we do, let's go 1/10, okay? And we get out. Now we have a tracker. All right, and again, this could be used for ammunition or spell slots, right? Something along those lines. I don't know why that one there. Oh, there you go. It's actually got a 5 counter. That's actually quite cool. How do I edit it? There we go. Can we go 25? There we go. Let me come to here and you can actually see the 5. I like that. That is visually easy to pick up, easy to use. And again, I think you could absolutely use this. People are making character sheets, you know, always looking to follow my advice on that. You guys are fantastic. But if you're doing that, like this is very simple and easy for you to use. You might track spell slots, you might track how much ammunition you have. And as you can see, that is very easy. Very easy. Now, another interesting one here is just this. And this is spaces. How can I click in here? All right, and it's just literally for putting spaces into your stuff. That's it. All right, you can put different number of spaces, I think. No, doesn't work. So it's just a space. One space in between a tick. And then you can probably do it again. No, only likes to do it once by the looks of it. But it's basically just for putting a tab or an indent in front of some of the things that are being used here. I'm guessing there's a requirement for the dev to actually just lay things out in a way that just is nice and easy, and it's just a simple way to do it. So as you can see, that is very simple. There is not much to it. You can see here's a use for it where we've got wounds, and you can actually see the thing on the other side, or stress, and there's actually a tab indent in there to make it stand out. For an inline tool, very, very easy. Let's just check this. Let's put it into a table just to see that it works. And we'll do a 5, and then in this one, 1-5. All right, does not seem to be working in a table. Yeah, Doesn't work in reading mode either, interestingly. I feel like the modes are a bit backwards. That might be what's going on here. I don't know how these plugins work. I don't know how to make plugins, but that's what it feels like to me. It's working in live preview mode, but it's not working in reading mode. Usually things would work in reading mode, not in live preview mode or not in source mode. So it just seems to be a little bit confused on how it's changing back and forth. I don't know if that's an Obsidian bug or if that's maybe something to do with the actual plugin itself. But that is just one thing. So yeah, it does not seem to work in tables, but it does work up here. You know, that's neither here nor there. I'm sure you can make it work in your own way. But yeah, that's the inline tools. It's simple, it's easy to use, it's effective. I think people will find use in that. So let's jump in now and let's have a look at how to create our own random tables, because I think this is an area where people might be interested. All right, let's jump back into settings. Let's go to community plugins. Let's come down to the solo TTRPG toolkit and have a look at the README again. And let's focus this time on the custom random tables. All right, so it's basically saying, in addition to the default random word generators, you can add any number of your own random tables by creating notes inside a special folder in your vault. The default is tables. I changed that in my settings. So we'll come to options. I've changed that to Z tables, sorry. Oh, sorry, just lost it. Let's jump back in there again. All right, so we can change that in there. And then custom table templates. There's a template here, and I recommend you take a copy of this. But it says, by default, a custom random table will return a random line from your note. You can further customize this behavior with templates. All right, so you can add one or multiple templates as properties of the note. Simply type -- which is our properties start at the start of the note. The value of a property can contain regular text as well as keywords inside curly brackets. All right, so it's very similar to sort of like what we've been seeing in, I guess, our handlebars formatting. Those keywords will be replaced with a random word from that section of the note. All right, so let's just jump in. Let's break this down. I've added this note. I've called it name loves, and I've put it inside the tables folder that I set in the properties. All right, so Z templates / tables. I've created that folder. I've created a note inside of there. I've pasted that template. I've named it name loves. And as you can see over here on the right, under the Solo RPG Toolkit, we now have the name loves button. Okay, and we've pressed that. It says Drew loves tacos a little. Press it again. Martha hates tacos very much. Do it again. James hates tacos very much. So what is it doing? All right, it's working off of the templates. All right, so let's just start with the folder. Whatever you create in the folder is going to create a new rollable table. All right, so let's go new note, and let's just call it my rollable. All right, so we've called it my rollable. Now I'm just testing here. If I close this and press the icon down here, open it up again, we now see my rollable. So all it needs to create a button in the plugin is to have a new note in the tables folder that you define in the settings. All right. If your icon is not showing up here because you've just added a new template, the trick I did there was just to right click on that tab, close it, and then click the icon down on the left-hand pane just to open that up again. I imagine another way you could do this would be to type Solo RPG Toolkit, open Toolkit. All right, so that could work as well. Now, for those of you who have been following me for a long time, a really long time, probably too long, you might remember Inspiration Pad Pro 3. All right, it's an application that we used to use back in the Realmwork days to create random tables. And it was fantastic because like all it did was random tables, and it just did it well. And it let you have some very complex tables. And my use of this plugin is reminding me of this. All right, so what we're going to do is I'm actually going to have a look at this NPC traits one here. You can see that we can click that and it gives us some different randomness. All right, now the thing about Inspiration Pad Pro 3 is that it used to run on text files. All right, so I can grab these text files and I can use them. And the layout of this kind of had me thinking back to this. All right, because if we come back here, what we're going to do is we're just going to copy this and put it in my rollable. All right, this is the template that comes with it. And we're going to come in here, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to have a look at this. We're going to put that on this side. We're going to bring that one up here, and we will just adjust this. And we're going to replicate this over here. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to go, let's roll an option. Now you can see here that we've got a one option, and then traits list and traits list. So what we do, we're going to change the name of the table to traits, delete everything else, because if we have a look down here, we've only got one big table. It's called traits. We're going to copy all the options for that and put that in there. All right, so now we have one massive section. It's defined as a section underneath the heading, and you can see that we just put the options underneath that. No spaces, just that. And there we go. Now here we've got some rollable options. So 1, 2, 3, 4 different rollable options. So 2, 3, and 4. ICP, IPP3, Inspiration Pad Pro 3, used to have a bit of a weight to it, so it would roll a dice and return the result from there. That allowed you to have some weighting, but I don't see a way to do that in this application, but what we can do is still just replicate it. So, we're going to do this option here, and it says trait list. Now, the way to do this in this application is just do traits, I believe, and traits. All right. To the two option, we're going traits, traits, and traits. This is a very simple one, as you can see. Traits, 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 and traits. And then for the fourth option, we're just doing it again. We're just gonna all right. Very, very simple. We're going to call this now, we're going to rename it from my rollable to NPC traits. So what we have in the properties, every line becomes a different option that can be returned when you press the button to run this rollable. Down here are the sections that we use. We have a section called traits, okay, and that's going to basically spit out these results. All right, if we now close this button and reopen it and hit the, what are we calling it? The ideas, we now have NPC traits as a button. Now, if we press that button, we get a result. Glum, curious, humble, and ambitious. All right, if we look back here, we know what that's doing is number 3. All right, so it's doing traits, 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 and traits. Press it again. Looks like that's the same. We'll go again. Confident, gloomy, and cooperative. That's running number 2, so trait, trait, and trait. All right, and then we've got the number 5, the 4 option there as well. So as you can see, it's really quite powerful, right? It allows you to create different variations of what's going on here. I do not know why I am getting that red when I highlight my properties. Not sure what's going on there. All right, so I just had to stop the video for a bit, and I really wanted to understand why we were getting that red text when this happens. And it makes complete logical sense to me now. What it was is it's actually Obsidian throwing an error at us to say, hey, that what you've done with the properties isn't what's expected. You know, you're not meant to do this. And what it was basically doing was highlighting when the errors commenced, and it's letting you know that there's a problem. So that's what it's doing. And, you know, there we go. We can trigger it again. It's basically going, well, hey, this doesn't meet the syntax for properties. Now, there is a way to fix this. Just put everything in quotation marks. All right, and that seems to fix it. All right, you can see the error message moves on. I have this silly thing where every time I type a quotation mark, I write 2 of them for some reason. I haven't figured out how to stop it yet. I think it's a keyboard layout or something. All right, there we go. And as you can see, as soon as I've put that last one into quotation marks, properties have rendered properly, okay, and it's fixed the error issue. We can come over here to the NPC traits button, we can press it, and we can see that it is working as expected. Now, we've done a simple example here, but it's worth doing a call out that you can take this further. All right, so if I go down under my traits table, I'll even just collapse that. I've actually put in an appearance table or an appearance section as well. Okay, under there, I've pasted some options. For the IPP guys, I've literally just come in and grabbed the NPC appearance from 5e.dmg that I've created many years ago and basically copied an existing one. I've pasted it into here. I've removed the numbers because I don't need them. And yeah, just literally got an appearance section. And what we can now do is come up here and in curly brackets, put appearance. All right, and we can add that to our template. So that's very simple. I will do this just for testing. All right, so we add appearance. Oh, that doesn't seem to actually update as easily as I would have thought it did. So let's just click that button again. Click that. There we go. So that's an interesting learning as well. All right, the changes I made to the template didn't flow through to the button immediately. I had to close the plugin and reopen it using that method we showed before. But once I have reopened it, I can click the NPC traits button and you can see that we're getting lots of different options that are feeding through from the new table, adding it into here and bringing it through. All right, so there we go. All right, just a quick addition to this video, just talking about the how you can do weighting. And you can see here that the IPP method was roll a dice and you could actually define the results based on the dice rolls. So 2 to 3 and 4 to 6 had more weighting than 1 to 7. All right, so it was a good method and it worked quite well. You can do that though in this plugin as well, right? So see here where I've actually defined the options. We can actually just come in here effectively and make more lines, all right, for each, well, effectively you could replicate dice, right? So here we can replicate the D7. We have option 1 is that, but option 2 and 3 is a repeat of that. Option 4 and 5 is a repeat of that. 6 is a repeat of that, right? So it is certainly possible for us to go ahead and do this and have some sort of weighting. So, you know, I'm sure people can figure out a clever way to make this work. All right, so this has been the Solo RPG Toolkit by Alex Kurowski. Lovely little plugin. Does what it says on the box. It's easy to use. It sits nicely in the side. And I really like the functionality for the rollable tables. All right, I think it's nice that you can package it up so neatly inside of a note and have a button that just picks up on the fact that it's there and triggers. I can certainly see myself using that at my table. Outside of that, the inline stuff, I think has some very interesting use cases. I think we will start to see that in people's sort of trackers and probably really good for the players, right? Where they can keep track of their ammo, keep track of their spell slots. It's just simple and does what it says. So I think it's a really nice toolkit, guys. I do recommend it. Jump in and have a look. I'm certainly keen to see what people make with the rollable tables, keeping in mind that it's very easy for us to share those. It's just a note. We can share them with each other and you can just copy that into your tables folder and it should pick up and work straight away. So that's a very interesting concept and I'm keen to see everyone sharing their content. Now, outside of that, if you are new to Obsidian and you're just watching this for the first time, please do come over to obsidian.ttrpgtutorials.com. It's where I recommend all of my viewers start. All right, don't start with the YouTube playlist or the Patreon playlist, right? I've made too many videos. Come in here where it's all laid out and it's a bit easier. You've got the getting started, then the plugin tutorials, and you can sort of fluidly move through. Make sure, though, you're joining the Obsidian TTRPG community Discord. I see lots of people out there asking for help in places where the community is not really gathered. They're all in here, guys. Jump in and ask for help, right? We can certainly help you out. So anyway, outside of that, I want to say a huge, massive shout out to my Patreon supporters. Thank you so much for your support. It means the world to me. Hopefully today's video has been nice and clear and crisp with the audio. We've upgraded to a new Shure microphone, so thank you guys because that has been funded by the Patreon support. Let's not ever let my wife know how much this microphone is worth, all right? That's got to be a secret between us, guys. So anyway, guys, outside of that, huge thank you to all. Hope you're enjoying the use of the tool. Looking forward to speaking to you, and I will speak to you all on the socials. Enjoy.